Hey there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're viewing this. I wish you well. Thank you for joining me again. This is your girl, Unique Air, with another reading on controlling the mind and thinking properly. I am also your doula of life, your social media doula of life after life, because there is no death. And the principles that I discuss and talk about help you in this life and the next. Because when you leave this third dimensional realm, all you take with you is your mind. So you want to know something when you go into the next astral plane. So join me and as I read this book talking about As a Man Thinketh. And the author here is James Allen if you want to get a copy for yourself. All right, let's get started. The first chapter is Thought and Character. The aphorism, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. As the plant springs from and could not be without the seed, so every act of a man springs from the hidden seeds of thought and could not have appeared without them. This applies equally to those acts called spontaneous and unpremeditated, as to those which are deliberately executed. So, anything a man does, whether it's spontaneous or deliberately executed, it all sprang from a thought first, just like a plant from a seed. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. Man is a growth by law, and not a creation by artifice, and cause and effect is as absolute and undeviating in the hidden realm of thought as in the world of visible and material things. A noble and godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the natural result of continued effort in right thinking. The effect of long cherished association with godlike thoughts. An ignoble and bestial character, by the same process, is the result of the continued harboring of groveling thoughts. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. Mm. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. In other words, again, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the life that you're going to have after this life is predicated upon what you do in this life. When what you do in this life is predicated upon how you think. Okay? See how it ties in together? You have to have the proper thoughts in order to have the proper actions, in order to have the proper life, in order to make a better next life. So it all goes together. I'll read that again. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. And I'm going to pause there because we see the beastie acts that are going on in the world today. All right. I hate to, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody in particular or anything like that, but when you see acts like bestiality, people sleeping with dogs and cats and messing with children, sleeping with kids and infringing upon others what they don't want, that's lower than a beast because beasts only do what's natural, right? So if humankind can do something that's unnatural, that's lower than a beast. It all comes from the treasures of the thoughts of the mind. All right. Says, between these two extremes are all the grades of character, and a man is their maker and master. Islam, I self law and master. Of all the beautiful truths pertaining to the soul which have been restored and brought to light in this age, none is more gladdening or fruitful of divine promise and confidence than this, that man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. It's all in the hands of man. There is no God that's going to come and do anything. Ain't nothing wrong with praying. That ain't nothing but sending out good energy for somebody, sending positive thoughts and positive energy. But it's up to man to do the right things. And it starts with thinking properly. Y'all, I'm not trying to get fresh. I promise. I'm hot. It's hot in here. I'm a woman of a certain age and I need some heat. I mean, some air. Okay? So it says here, as a being of power, intelligence, and love, and the Lord of his own thoughts, man holds the key to every situation and contains within himself that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. Free will, y'all. Even the Bible talk about that. Free will. It's when you see people doing things that are inconvenient, if you know what I mean, they chose it. They weren't born that way. Okay? It's like saying somebody was born a liar. Somebody was born a thief. No, you wasn't. You chose to live like that. Okay? And so when they reap the consequences of their action, whether they go to jail for stealing or killing, or if they die of something that ravishes their body because they misused it, they chose that. Man is always the master, even in his weaker and most abandoned state. But in his weakness and degradation, he is the foolish master who misgoverns his household or his body. When he begins to reflect upon his condition and to search diligently for the law upon which his being is established, he then becomes the wise master, directing his energies with intelligence and fashioning his thoughts to fruitful issues. Such is the conscious master, and man can only thus become by discovering within himself the laws of thought, which discovery is totally a matter of application, self analysis, and experience. If you want to know wisdom, wisdom starts with how you think. How you think, I know when I was in the Christian world, I love the Psalms, I love the Proverbs. I would just read Proverbs, and Proverbs now would be considered in my life stoicism, learning how to always staying calm, and a lot of people have mastered that. If you look at our Caucasian um fellow Caucasian people and Asians, you see how calm they remain in a lot of circumstances and situations. They don't overreact. They don't get over emotional. See, emotions is energy and motion. You allow your emotions to guide you, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You better think and you better reason as well. Okay? Says here, only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained. And I remember a special teacher saying, mine your mind. Mine. You know how they do mining? Mine your mind for the jewels of your soul. Okay? So only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained. And man can find every truth connected with his being if he will dig deep into the mine of his soul, and that he is the maker of his character, the molder of his life, and the builder of his destiny. He may unerringly prove if he will watch, control, and alter his thoughts, tracing their effects upon himself, upon others, and upon his life and circumstances, linking cause and effect by patient practice and investigation, and utilizing his every experience, even to the most trivial everyday occurrence, as a means of obtaining that knowledge of himself which is understanding, wisdom, power. In this direction, as in no other, is the law absolute, that he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. For only by patience, practice, and ceaseless opportunity can a man enter the door of the temple of knowledge. See, so y'all, that's the first chapter. And each chapter I'm going to do a video for because I need the time to talk about it and go over it. So basically, just like you plant a seed, if you want to bear fruit, you got to plant the seed, right? You're not going to just go out there and you ain't planting nothing and find some fruit. It's the same thing with people's actions, whether they good or bad. They put thought into that and they decided that they wanted to do something evil. They decided that they wanted to misuse their bodies. They decided that they wanted to abuse children. They decided that they wanted to abuse, kill, steal, destroy. And those are all the works of the enemy, right? So, which leads us to understand that thoughts, like I was reading in my first video from the Astro book, thoughts come from somewhere, right? The whisperer, Khanas, Shaitan, and his fallen. Again, I'm putting in a plug. Watch that movie Fallen with Denzel Washington. But it is up to you because we are always at war. Woe unto those that inhabit the earth, for Satan has come down to you and all his minions. Okay? So the battle is in between here. The brain. Who you gonna listen to? Are you going to be influenced by social media? Are you going to be influenced by influencers? Are you going to be influenced by these movies and this music? Or are you going to be an observer and a person that's going to reason and think and mine his mind for the jewels of his soul? Are you going to knock? Are you going to seek that you may find? It's interesting because I think about how now they're allowing marijuana to be um, legal now, and it's not a bad thing. I don't think it is at all. I don't think it's bad when it's in its natural form. Now what they've done to it, we don't know. We've yet to find out. As the years go on, we'll see the backlash of these dispensaries. Okay, but what I feel personally is that psilocybin and things like Mary Jane, they only magnify what's in a person. I know from my own experience in my youth when I tried it, if you're a good person, it's going to bring out more goodness. If you wicked, it's going to bring out more of that. It doesn't change anything, it just magnifies. It's like putting a magnifying glass over a letter. You know what I'm saying? So at this point in time, with CERN and all these portals and the eclipse that we had back in April, all these energies that's on the planet right now, that's always been here, that have been revived. Um, yeah, just look at what's happening. But at the same time, it's not all negative because remember, the planet has raised in vibration. So things are getting better for those who've done the work. But those who haven't done the work, that are stuck in the old paradigm and old timelines on that 3D, third dimensional mindset, those are the ones that are going through it. And I believe that people like myself who are doing these posts and stuff, we want to try to help. We want to try to help to say, change your mind. Belief is done away with. The age of Pisces is done. We are in Aquarius now, honey. You can know whatever you want to know. You don't have to sit up and believe. Belief is ignorance. It's really ignorance. That means you don't know. And you walking around here blaming a spirit for what you're going through and giving credit to a spirit for when something good happens to you when you put in the work for it. So as a man thinketh, and religion is the opiate for the masses. It is. It's like you can't think for yourself. You know, I'll give an example of when I was in high school. Um, I grew up in church in Pentecost. I remember asking my mother, "What are we? What are we?" My friends always asking me what religion I am, and my mother said, "Well, you tell them that we Pentecost. We speak in tongues." And I was like, "Okay," and I was very observant. That's why I like to read now. And I remember reading where they were saying, don't, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, don't consult psychics that peep and mutter or something like that. And I'm like, every day I was sneaking and reading my horoscope and asking Jesus to forgive me because I thought I was going to go to hell for that. But I couldn't stay away from it. I couldn't. Every day, I'm like, let me just, I would even do it with one eye. Like, I'd be sitting in the lunchroom at school, just like, I ain't gonna look at it all the way. I just want to peep real quick. Let me read it real quick. And then my day would go like that. It would go just like the horoscope said. And I'm like, horoscope, for those who know, you know. And I'm sitting up here like, how is this thing telling me what's going to happen to me? Like, and it's happening. And of course, I couldn't talk to my mother about it, couldn't talk to nobody about it. I just was reading every day, and I'm like, man. And then as I got older and more wise, I remember knocking on the door, seeking so that ye may find, and the teacher will appear when the student is ready. I kept searching, kept looking. Hold on, I think this light might be too bright. I kept searching, I kept looking, and you know what? The answers came to me. The answers came to me. So as I grew up and I got old enough and I was able to move away and go into my own journey, I did that. I did that. And it was scary because every day I was asking God to forgive me, thinking I was turning my back on God. More and more knowledge was coming to me and I was looking into it. Of course, my mother thought I was abominable and that I was walking away from the creator and all this stuff. But no, my spirit in me was greater. I had to check it out. I had to find out because I kept saying there's got to be more than this. And I was a Pentecost and all of that. And then I was a Hebrew Israelite for 8 years. And then Spirit said, move on. It's more. There's more. There's more. And Spirit will put people in your life. If you really earnestly, truly searching, Spirit will bring people in your life out of nowhere to give you the answers that you're looking for. I happened to be at work one day and it it's always been males. It has always been males that have helped me to see. It's never been a woman. Never been a woman. And where I was working at, the guy was asked to take me out to lunch or to dinner or something like that. And we became really good friends, nothing like that. He was like 10 years older than me. And he was like, he knew I was deep into church. And he said, well, what if I told you the Jesus that you believe in is a fictitious character? And I said, well, you'll bust hell wide open. That's what I'll say to you. And he invited me. He said, well, I want you to go to a class with me. I just want you to keep your mind open. And that's when he introduced me to Dr. Delbert Blair. Okay. So I went to Dr. Blair's house and Blair became my teacher. I went to that first class. I heard so much, it just blew my mind, but my spirit resonated with it. It resonated. And from there, that's how I found out about the tablets. And then I went on my journey with did the Nuwapian thing for a while. And people may laugh, but see, when you search and you on a journey and you on a quest, just because I don't know if Dr. York was a pedophile or not. I don't know. I one thing I do know is this government can bribe people and pay people to do whatever they want done. Period. And I'm not saying that nobody was touched. I don't know. I was not there. But I tell you one thing, everybody has a piece of the puzzle. All these religions, all these belief systems, you got to take that puzzle from this, from over here, from over there, from over here, and build your truth. That's what you have to do. What resonates with you? And that's what I did. I got my truths. I got my books. I went here a little, there a little, line upon line, precept upon precept, and I put my truth together because your journey is your journey. Earth is a school, and that's what people need to understand. You're not here to jump on the bandwagon train and call on Jesus and everybody just get picked up on up out of here. It ain't even no rapture gonna happen. People don't even realize that the wicked gonna be removed, not the righteous. So it's just so much confusion when it comes to these types of things. And the one book that all our people have that you can only recourse about is this one. And I still keep my copy. Everybody got this in their house, but they don't lean to understanding. They want to go to church. They want to party 6 days a week and go to church and then be told, just ask for forgiveness and you good. That's a soul trap. That's a soul trap. It don't work like that. If you think that you're going to haphazard your way into the next life without any kind of knowledge and you're going to be okay, you lying to yourself. Okay? The third dimensional realm shows you if you want to make real money, you got to go to school. You got to burn some candle oil. You got to put in some time reading and studying and understanding the book, right? You got to put in the time just like you do when you if you want to be a doctor, you can't go to school for 2 years to be a doctor. You got to go 8 years. You got to keep going. The more you know, the more you make. And it's the same concept when it comes to spirituality. So if you leaving your soul salvation in the hands of some man who touching some little boys behind, woe unto you. Woe unto you. The spirit knows who knows its voice, who hears its voice. And spirit will literally anthropomorphize and come to you because it happened to me. When I really wanted to know and I cried out. And if you watch my first video and I talked about out of this book, when you first think a thought, the energy you put behind it gives it color, gives it form, and gives it power. And when I called out to that spirit guide and I said, I want to know, I don't want to leave my salvation in the hands of my mother. Am I right for walking away from Christianity? Show me the truth, spirit. And that very night that I asked for that, spirit walked through the wall. But you know what? I was like John in the Isle of Patmos. I wasn't even in my body and I didn't know it. I was floating above my body. And spirit, he was about 7 feet tall. Tall, dark, muscular man, long locks like to here. I don't know. Could have been my higher self. But he came in and he had a scroll in his hand with eyes on it. And I was petrified. I was so stiff. It was like sleep paralysis. I couldn't move. And he stood there and he waited till I calmed down. He told me telepathically, calm down, calm down. And I laid there and I caught my breath. Once I calmed down, he came on over and he looked in my eyes like this. And I'm just like, because he was talking to me man to man. So I was like mind numbing, you know. And he sat on the bed and I rolled into him. I literally felt all of his weight. And he told me, you on the right path. Keep going. Keep going. And he continued to tell me something in my mind. And it caused me to have to leave home. I had to leave and go to a land that I knew nothing about. When I tell you, if you really on this journey and you really on this journey, you're going to have to give some things up. You seriously going to have to give some things up. You're going to have to look at it for what it really is. Earth is a school. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. You know, the greatest test upon this generation was just a few years back with the pandemic. Where did your loyalty lie? Was it with material things? Did you give up your body for material things? Or did you trust in source and say no? No. Did you use your free will? Or did you fold? I'll just leave that there. I'll leave that there. Because the consequence of where you fell on either side of that is coming to light. It's coming to fruition. We seeing people dropping here, dropping every day from doing that. Little kids are suffering. Kids are not exempt. What happened to God love babies and old folks? Babies have been killed. Babies have been murked. Remember, as a man thinketh in his heart, he creates his reality. And if you fall for the matrix, if you fall for the fear mongering, guess what? You're going to suffer. I believe it was Stevie Wonder who said, if you believe in things that you don't understand, you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. Most people are superstitious. They think they religious. They think they know. They're superstitious, is what it is. We've been raised by fairy tales. We've been raised on lies. I might have went a little too deep with this one. I'm gonna get ready to cut it short. I thank you for joining me. Stay tuned, like, subscribe. There's more coming, baby. I got a whole plethora of books, and I figured out how I'm gonna do my system. I'm gonna read a chapter, expound on it, and take it there. And eventually, I'll do lives where people can chime in, and we can talk along the way. I can take comments and things like that. So it's your girl, Unique Air, coming back at you again, ending up this recording. I am your doula of life, metaphysics, your social media doula of life and life beyond life beyond life. All right. I love y'all. Till next time. Stay in peace. Not broken up. All right.